What's going on, everyone? I'm the casual reviewer. I'm the fine line between critic and casual viewer, and today I saw Crawl. Now, Crawl is a film directed by Alexandre Aja. I'm not sure. I mean, he directed The Hills Have Eyes, Piranha 3D. The Hills Have Eyes is good, but whatever. And then it stars Kaya Scodelario, I think is her name. I don't know. And then it's Barry Peppers. Cool. And the premise of this film is so Kaya plays Haley. She is this university swimmer, and she's basically they're at Florida. She's at the University of some school in Florida, and she's going to try to find her dad because he's not answering some calls in the midst of this storm, this hurricane that's going on. And as you've seen in the trailer, basically she goes back to her old house. She finds her dad underneath in the crawl space, and she also meets up with a gator or two. Essentially, the movie is a maze of trying to get out of this house with her dad while avoiding alligators, giant alligators. This movie kind of plays out exactly how you would think it would. Let me start off with the directing. The directing is great. I love the directing. From what I hear, it's very, very tough to direct in water. And essentially the whole film is in water. Most of it is, and it looks very realistic as far as the storm itself. It looks crazy realistic. I don't really know how they do that, but it looks really good. And so I'm actually interested to see how they do that. The gators themselves don't look amazing. They don't. Honestly, they look pretty okay until they actually start attacking people. Then that looks pretty real and is pretty good, and I like that. I like those scenes. Those are some great scenes. If you're going to see some people get got, then you'll enjoy this film for those reasons. Now let me get on to the acting. Now the Kaya Scodelario, I don't know if I've seen her in anything else. I'm not sure. She kind of looks like Amber Heard, sorta, kinda. I was just thinking because Aquaman, she's like the sister or whatnot, so I just naturally thought of Amber Heard's character, and she was good for the most part. There was a scene or two where I thought her acting was it was iffy, but for the most part she was good. The Barry Peppers, he plays Dave, he plays the father. I thought he was great. He was great in the entire film. Now, the Gators themselves weren't the best actors, I have to say, and now I'm sorry, I hope they're not watching this. I don't want them to get all self-conscious. There were some weird parts in it, like for instance, I'm not Coyote Peterson, I'm not, Steve Irwin, I'm not sure, but I always had known like alligators, or maybe it's crocodiles, to like when they latch onto their prey to spin underneath the water. Again, I don't know if that's to like confuse the foe or to disable them in some way. I don't remember. But yeah, I thought like that was their go-to move. But in this movie, it was kind of like their fatality. Like if this was Mortal Kombat, I always was under the impression that the spin under the water was like pressing circle or like B, whatever, if the Xbox placed it, I don't know. But I always felt it was like the kick move, like it was just that common move. I thought that's where the alligators go to. But it turns out, like I said, to really just be their kind of fatality move, but not really, because a fatality, you finish the guy off, but when they did it, they didn't really finish him off. And then I'm gonna lead into my next thing, which kind of took me away from the film. Now, I know I'm this boring, unfun, super depressing reviewer that can't just suspend all disbelief and like, listen, I can, and call me boring, like I said, do whatever you gotta do, but at the end of the day, when some things are just so unbelievable, it's hard to move past it for me. It's just tough when it keeps happening. And I don't know if this was supposed to be like the Gators were supposed to seem like real, like this was supposed to feel like a real situation, or if this was supposed to feel kind of like a Deep Blue Sea situation, because it kind of reminded me of Deep Blue Sea, only with alligators, kind of, and with people trapped in one area. And also, that was another thing, like, the gators seem to just gravitate toward this house or this town. It basically turned into Alligator Island, and there was like a little store that was there, and I'm not really sure why they were at this house. I don't know if like they had been there before in previous hurricanes, and that was just like the hot spot. Maybe, you know, that's where all the good booze was or something. I'm not sure. I can't speak on behalf of the Gators, but it just seemed to be the hot spot. I actually, now thinking about it, I do think the guy mentioned there being a reason as to why they were like kind of were around this area. So whatever, like fine. But still, it does the other things, like there's some stuff in this where like someone's arm will be like full on in the gator's mouth for a solid 10 seconds, and then they get their arm out, and then they're using their arm at like full strength. I don't know. Again, I've never been an alligator victim. It's I don't want to be, so I guess I'll just believe the movie that if a gator like latches onto your leg or your lower half or, you know, your arm, that you're probably good. You're probably gonna be good and okay. And in this movie, this isn't giving anything away because it's in the beginning of the film, but the dad has a bone sticking out of his leg. His leg is broken with a bone sticking out of it. They didn't just say, "Oh, his leg is broken," and then not show. They literally show the bone like flailing off in his leg, and this dude is walking with the dog in his hand so easily, like it's nothing. Like I'm walking right now, like he's moving, like he might even be more coordinated than I am when he has a broken leg than I am, and you just saw me spin around like twice. So there's a lot of things, and you know, this movie kind of turned into what you would assume, where, you know, oh man, there's something over there, but there's alligators. I gotta get it, you know? So like it always happens to be a thing that's just quite out of reach that you gotta go get to, but you know, watch out, there's alligators. You don't know what you want to do, you know, you're kind of whatever. And so it just basically, like, it seems like a fun maze. Just imagine like if you were in a fun maze and you had to, you know, get to a certain point and you had to get there while avoiding alligators. So imagine that. That's kind of what this movie turns into. And yeah, so, you know, but I have to say, I'll end it with a good note. This movie was tense. If you can suspend all disbelief, I feel like you'll really love this movie. I liked it. Again, it was a cool movie. It was very visually cool. Like, not that hurricanes are cool or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that, but like, it looked good, and it was directed very well. Yeah, sorry if there's gonna be like a weird cut, but someone had called me. So, but anyways, let me just finish this out, guys. So, out of a 10, I was thinking about it, I'll give this movie a 6.5, which isn't awful, because again, the tension was great, the director was great. There's just a lot of unbelievable things, which in a movie I kind of gave a little bit of a pass in a movie like this. So for that reason, that's why it's not too low, but it's not so high because I just can't get past some of the stuff. All right, well, that's all for me right now. I want to review Midsummer. I loved that film. Midsummer was great. So, yeah, I mean, I got some people that are about to be here right now, so I'm gonna go. What is it? What are you? See ya. Bye. Catch you on the flippity. All right.